I started putting together this video about 5 months ago, along with this coaster behind me, to kind of show off my design ideas and all the my thought process that went into making this. And the video originally took about 11 minutes, and so I edited it down to this video that I have now, but just to keep it a little more exciting. The reason it took that long, I had so many different ideas for this, was because I have never seen anyone make anything quite like V2 with the two-way launching, and so this took a lot of experimentation to make it work. And so 5 months later, I have finished, and I went through a lot of different design ideas that I want to share with y'all, and so that's what this video is going to be. This was my original idea. I had a lot of these really old track pieces that I wanted to use, and I thought V2 would be the best coaster to use it on. This way I could fit 2 chain launches between the car and the track, and the idea was to have them launch in opposite directions, and I would only have to move the chain catch back and forth to switch the direction that the trains were launched. Unfortunately, there were quite a few problems. There was a lot of friction because I was using spacers for wheels, and the cars were twisting because they didn't quite fit on the track right. Also, the track didn't look very good and blocked the view of the train, and I didn't know how I could have supported it, so I completely scrapped that idea and started again with classic track. The plan here was to use a series of 3 main components to switch the direction of the chain launch, powered by 4 motors. This was the motor configuration. It actually worked really well and looked pretty cool too. That would spin a gear that connected to the next component, a configuration of 3 gears that would manually slide in and out to switch the direction that the gears after it spun. I tried to make a piece out of wood to fit the gears, and when that didn't work, I 3D modeled and printed a piece for this. The last component would make sure that there's never too much stress on the chain or the motors from switching directions. It would also create a smooth acceleration from one launch direction to the other. And unfortunately, every part of this had problems. After much rearranging and experimenting, I realized that the 3D printed component didn't really work and wasn't needed because I could switch the direction on the motors. After realigning all of that, I determined that even 4 motors together was not strong enough to power the launch, and I switched out the motor box for a pull cord, which actually was a launch type that I used on my first launch coaster, and it provides a lot more power. After replacing that, the accelerator was limiting the power that I could put into the launch, and so I also got rid of that because I didn't really have to worry about the stress on the motor, and I could change the acceleration by pulling harder. So in the end, the launching system that worked the best was also the simplest, which there's some principle out there that the simplest solution is usually the best, and this is the proof right here. It took me about 30 hours to redesign that launching system from the original one that had about 13 gears to the one I have right now that has about 2. And on future coasters, I definitely should keep that in mind. Although, I think I have all of the most complex coasters out of the way, and I know that I promised this would be a very complex launching system, and it really isn't anymore, but as long as it works, I'm happy with it. So, I have a working coaster now. That's all I can ask for.